Another thing I liked about this movie was the action was really good. It was pretty good. I liked how they choreographed everything. Basically, it was mostly gunplay because a lot of the Suicide Squad members didn't really have powers. So basically, you had Colonel Rick Flag with the gun, uh, Deadshot with a lot of guns. Harley Quinn had a bat and a gun, so of course it was a lot of shooting going on. And of course you have Katana with her sword. But with the characters that do have powers though, the effects were really freaking amazing. Especially El Diablo's. His was just phenomenal, and Enchantress's effects were really decent too. So of course the action in this movie was, in my opinion, top notch. I think it's frankly probably one of the best, like as far as action goes, one of the best films that DC has done with action. Uh, so I actually enjoyed that part. In fact, that was probably the strongest. Next to the craziness of the characters, the action was probably also the strongest suit when talking about this movie. It was definitely that. Um, Also, I gotta talk about the music because there were a lot of pop songs in this movie. It was kind of like, oh, a lot of old and new songs coming together. And to be honest, the soundtrack was kind of hit or miss because there are some songs that fit the tone and the setting and the vibe of a certain scene perfectly, and then some that I kind of feel like they just threw that song in there just because they had the rights to it. So, but even if it didn't necessarily fit with the setting, at least in pacing, it fit somewhat. So it wasn't a total loss. So soundtrack was not bad. Um, and excuse me, I've gotta, I've gotta be honest. As a fan, I say that this movie is just so friggin' awesome. But as a critic of this movie, I say that this movie, while not necessarily the best, it was still good in its own right. And I feel like a lot of I gotta talk to the critics out there. I feel like a lot of you did not give a fair assessment of this movie. Like I get it. You guys have seen dozens upon dozens of superhero movies all the way back, all the way ever since Batman Begins. You guys have been getting movie after movie after movie about superheroes. So I get that. I get that you're a bit tired of that, and I get that there's some cliches, and I also get that there is still some backlash behind Batman versus Superman. But here's the thing: I feel like you guys are using that to. I feel like you guys are letting that affect your reviews, and that is not what an objective movie review is. I feel like you guys are not giving this movie a fair chance. Basically, if I was to rate this movie on a 5-star scale, probably get about 3.5, maybe 4 stars. If it was a grading scale from A to F, probably a solid B minus. And that's not bad at all. That's good. That's pretty good. But you guys are basically giving this movie what is the equivalent to an F. And that's where I have a problem with this. Alright, YouTubers, you want my advice? See this movie anyway. Ignore the critics, because I feel like they entirely missed the point of what made this movie great. Go see it for yourself. Whether you're a hardcore comic book fan, or a casual movie-going fan, or somewhere in the middle, go see it. Even if you don't like superhero movies all that much, go see it, because there's something for everyone in this movie. And I think that this movie definitely deserves more credit than it's getting. I don't know what's going on here. I don't get how a movie this good can get a 29% when it deserves, at least on Rotten Tomatoes, at least a 65. I'll give it at least a 65. Maybe a little more. But 65, that's cushiony. That's fine. And yet, here we have bad films like Ghostbusters getting 73% on Rotten Tomatoes. This blows my mind Because Ghostbusters sucked. This, you have a great movie here. Not great, but pretty good. You have a pretty good movie here. And like objectively, it's pretty good. As a fan, I freaking loved it. But still, that's beside the point. I reviewed this from an objective point of view, not just as a fan, but as a person that's reviewing a movie, and you guys can't seem to do that. I get that there is certain critique that you have behind judging these movies, but sometimes I think your critique is bullshit. Honestly, I do. Because there is no reason why this movie should be getting that low of a score. With as good as David Ayer wrote and directed this movie, as good as cast members like Jared Leto, Will Smith, Karen Fukuhara, Margot Robbie, all of them did a really wonderful job with this movie. All of them. And they deserve way more than you're giving them credit for. This is the best superhero movie out this year since Deadpool. And you give it a 29%, and the aggregate score comes out 29%? Why all the negativity? What is with you guys? Just go see it. Anybody that has not already seen it, go see it. That's all I gotta say. Like, let me know what you guys think about the movie in the comments if you already saw the movie, and if you feel like if you have a different opinion from mine, that's fine. Go ahead and let me know. I don't mind having a discussion about it, and it's without going, "Oh, caveman, my opinion's better than yours." No, let's have a discussion. I like discussing things, especially movies. So if you have a different opinion than mine, please feel free to share in the comments. And of course, as always, like, comment anything else you think, and subscribe to me for more updates on stuff, and anything nerdy, really. And also, if you have any suggestions or requests for movies you want me to review, I will go ahead and do them. And it doesn't have to be just new movies. I can do old movies as well. I can go ahead and look into them, and I'll let you guys know what I think. And there you go. My review, Suicide Squad. My first official YouTube review done, out of the way. All right. And now that I've said my piece, peace. And before I go, critics, stop being pretentious. Just stop being ridiculous with your scoring. Have the balls to actually judge basically all I'm saying here is don't be ridiculous with your judging of movies, especially with good ones like Suicide Squad and bad ones like Ghostbusters. That's all I got left. See ya.